Welcome to Breaking the Chains Repatriation Journeys. I am Bakita, and today we have Kristen. Kristen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me, Kita. My name is Kristen Tellis-Quay. I first visited Ghana in 2016 and ended up falling in love with the culture, the people. Like, pretty much, I knew that from the time that I came, I wanted to stay, and I ended up finding the love of my life while I was in Ghana. And a year later, he ended up moving to the States, and now we run a travel company that focuses on helping people return to the motherland for travel, relocation, and business. And
Okay.
it's called Certified Africa. By trade, I'm also an attorney.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. So you're an attorney. Um, why would you want to move to Africa?
Well, that's a big part of my story, actually. I was very much unhappy in my job as an attorney. I was actually doing public interest legal work, and because I've always wanted to help people. But I realized that in my role and in my day-to-day activities that um, it wasn't enough. Deep down, I dreamed of traveling the world full time. I dreamed of spending more time with my family and friends and just living life.
Right.
And I don't know, I didn't know any attorneys who had done what I was dreaming of.
Right.
Working from anywhere, traveling whenever I felt like it. If I'm
Mm.
sick, I can take off. It just seemed like everybody that I knew was stuck in the rat
In
race
the rat race. Yeah.
no with no other way out. And so I was very, it took a toll on me emotionally, physically. It was just a tough 2 years. And when my contract was almost up, I either had to make a decision to go and find another legal job or branch out on my own.
Hmm.
And just so happens that we had been building the travel company the entire time that I was doing that position. So we were able to launch and move out where I didn't have to find another job. And then I decided if I'm going to practice law, it's going to be on my own terms. So I now have my own virtual law firm, and I take the clients that I want, I take the cases that I want. And
Wow.
it's nothing that requires me to go to court. So,
I,
yeah.
I absolutely love it because I think it looks like to me a lot of our people who have professional degrees are finding other ways to use those degrees to, and allow the degree to still work for them, but in a way that suits them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
how how have you found like adjusting to being in Ghana? Like, what's the difference in your life? You said you were not happy here. Being an attorney, you make decent money. So how does it, what's the difference between living in America, being a lawyer, making good money, and now you're in Ghana where you find your happiness. How is that, how's that working out?
So I would say that it's working out pretty good. I enjoy being in Ghana. Ghana is my happy place. Don't get me wrong. It comes with a lot. For people who don't understand um, the culture, it can come with a lot and it can come as a shock. But um, I do credit some of that to my husband being Ghanaian and us having extensive conversations about the culture and about people. And it is an understanding, and because of the work that we do, where he is also interacting with African Americans a lot, we have those conversations about the two cultures and how different things that we do can be interpreted. So I think that has helped my transition a lot. But what I love the most about Ghana is the people and the relationships that I found in Ghana. So I was just telling someone yesterday that my relationships in the US, I feel like when I compare them to the relationships I have in Ghana, seem very surface level.
Okay.
And it always seems like people have somewhere to be, they have somewhere to go. It seems like their job is always the most important thing to them because it is their source of income, and that is how that's how they survive.
Right.
Here, yes, people have jobs and people have things that are their sources of income, but to me, if I come and I connect, or if I come and connect with them, it seems more genuine. It seems like there is no rush. It's just us connecting. Two souls should be connecting. That is what I love the most about it. I sat and we met someone at the airport a year and a half ago, and we kept in contact with them. And since we've been here, we've been trying to connect with them. And we sat and we talked to this man for like 5+ hours. And, it just wasn't anything. It was just, we were connecting, we were vibing, and we wanted to continue our conversation. But other people would just feel like it's a Sunday and I got to get back to whatever because I have to prepare for work.
Yeah. Yeah. You said you're married to a Ghanaian.
Yes.
How long have you been married?
We've been married for close to 4 years.
Whoa,
yes.
Okay, good.
Almost 4 years.
That's really good. I've been married to my Ghanaian husband for it'll be 10 years in September. Yeah. So I know how have you both been adjusting to the cultural differences that tend to come with being married to someone that's not from where you're from?
I think that we've handled it pretty well because we talk so much and we communicate very, very well. I think that we've had a chance to really, I'll pose different conversations with him. Like, we don't have any children yet, but we talk about those things for when we will. And I'm like, okay, this is. So, for instance, in school, I know this is how maybe you were brought up in school, where maybe in the schoolhouse it's okay for the teachers to beat the children. And so we have that discussion, how do you feel about that? If our kids were to be raised in Ghana, would you want that? Or how would that be? And then we just kind of offer our opinions on the subject, and he will tell me his opinion and be like, oh, okay, I think some of that is good, but then I think that we can infuse some of the African American culture as well. And so we kind of made it where we blend the two, because there are things that I really, really like about how Ghanaians traditionally raise children, and I think that structure is will be very good for our kids. And then there's things that maybe he doesn't necessarily like about African American culture, and we're going to supplement that for what he's learned growing up. And that's fine. And so we communicate and talk about it.
I'm just really enjoying the fact that you've been able to make it 4 years. It's not easy. It can be a little more difficult than being married to someone that is from the same culture that you're from. But it's doable, obviously.
Yes.
And you are pretty much confirming what I've learned, and that's communication can get you through anything. You know, once you're able to effectively communicate with each other, it'll bring down a whole lot of problems. You can solve a whole lot of problems with effective communication. And I think that is the communication will get you through everything. I have, in 10 years, we've been through a lot. And we still here because we learned to effectively communicate. And I think it's absolutely awesome that you guys are able to do that at such a early stage in your marriage. I'm pretty impressed because I know it's one of the hardest things to do, especially being married to someone who most times English is like their second or third or fourth language. There's so many different, variables that come along with being married to someone else. I love the fact that you all are merging cultures instead of it all has to be Ghanaian or it all has to be African American. I've always said that everybody has to bend in the relationship. It's a give and take. So it's really cool to see that someone else has been able to navigate in a similar way that I have, because I always see women say, well, you got to learn his culture and you got to do this for him and him and him and him and him. And I'm like, okay, but what about me? I didn't drop out of the sky without a culture and a brain and all of those things. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that. You mentioned that you guys don't have children yet. You want to have kids, right?
Yes.
Right. So do you think that you would prefer to raise them in America or in Ghana?
I think that we've talked about having them being raised for the first several years, primarily in Ghana. We've talked about that. But then I think that it would be great for them to I want them to travel, actually. I want them to be able to travel and see different places on the continent. I want them to, of course, experience America, but I am not attached to them growing up there at all.
Good.
I'm not. But I do think that there is great value in them having different experiences and things that I feel like I didn't necessarily have.
Right.
And I want my kids to be global citizens.
Yeah.
Because the world is just a beautiful place for them to experience. So
yeah. Have you been to any other African nations yet?
Yes, I have. I've been to Tanzania, mainland. I've been to Zanzibar, of course, that's part of Tanzania, but then on the island. I have been to Togo, been to Benin. I've been to Morocco. I've been to, the other one. I think that's it. There may be another one that I'm missing right now. But yes, those are the places that I've been, and I plan to go to. Oh, Kenya. Been to Kenya. Yeah.
Okay. So what, even though your husband is Ghanaian, it seems like you're both pretty flexible. So how did he feel about you all coming back to Ghana when y'all have been married for 4 years? So he just recently came to America. So how did he feel about you all going back to Ghana?
Yeah, I would say that my husband is probably very unique in this regard. But he actually, so I think he was, of course, very excited when we decided that instead of me moving to Ghana, that he would move to the States, because I still had some time left in law school, and I have, of course, was about to start a new job and take the bar and all of that. So he moved to the States. And then during that 2-year period, first 2 years that he came to the States, that is when we started talking about starting the travel company. And when we started thinking about what we were going, like what our niche was going to be, he mentioned that he would see a lot of, white people, Asian people come to Ghana for business, but that it didn't seem like a lot of Black people from the diaspora would come in to do business.
Yeah.
And he said, well, why don't we, like, why can't that be our focus? Like, we can help people travel, but then also when they come, we can expose them to business opportunities. And I thought that was pretty cool. And as he started to watch more videos and do more research about doing business in Africa, that is when I think he became really excited about us going back and the things that he could do. So he was like, okay, I mean, yes, this is great that we're here in America. This is American capital. We can now take that back and do some amazing things on the continent, and we can tell more Black people about it. So he is now, of course, excited about Ghana and the things that we can do. And this time around, this has been one of the times that we've gotten to stay a lot longer than 3 months. Like this time we'll be here for more than a 3-month span and then go back. And that has allowed us to put some of the other businesses that we wanted to do finally in motion.
Yeah.
And so he's very excited about the things that we're going to do here in Ghana and hopefully some other African countries in the future.
That's really good because I know a few ladies have they come across an issue when it comes to the idea that they want to move to Ghana. Like the whole idea was, I'm gonna move to Ghana. And they may have met a guy while they were there, fall in love and all of that stuff, and then of course you come here and then the guy wants to be here, but you're like, no, my initial reason for going to Ghana in the first place was because I wanted to move. I don't want to be here. So I know a few ladies who have that situation. So people like you and I have unique situations where the men are completely down with going back to Ghana, and I think it's a unique situation to be in. I only know maybe it's only a handful of women that I know who have husbands who are about either going back and forth like you and I do, because we're back and forth. But we, instead of doing months at a time, we do like a couple of years at a time because we're building there. We're trying to do things here. We have 4 children, so it makes the fluidity a lot less fluid. But definitely the way you guys are doing it is more than likely something that if I didn't have children, it would probably be like that. We'll a couple of months at a time here, there, but you do have to be there on the ground to get things like really moving, because it's Ghana and nothing moves really fast. So you have to have enough time to be there. How have you found it as far as getting businesses started? I know having a Ghanaian husband makes it probably 10 times easier, but how have you found the process of starting a business and getting things done? How has that been working for you?
It's been good. So we do have several businesses that are registered here. And I mean, it's not the way that, because I, of course, do business registration in the U.S. It's nothing, of course, like that, where you can go online and you can put in the registration, and then in 3 to 4 days, you get an email saying it's confirmed, it's registered, and you can see it online.
Right.
Nothing like that. course, it was very different. You know, we went down to the office, we made contact with some people we knew, and then it took some time. And then, of course, you have to know somebody to know somebody.
Yeah.
But eventually it got registered, and, you know, it happened. And that's what I try to tell people, that it's doable, but it's just going to be different from what you know. It might agitate you that it's like that. But Africa and Ghana specifically too is about relationships, and it's about people that you know. So it's gonna be different in that manner. But other than that, it's been fun. And then of course we also recently started working on doing a bakery. And so we're in the process of building some things out. And, you know, there was a carpenter that was supposed to come, and then he got paid.
I know.
You pay them, and then they're like, "Ooh, okay, I'm gonna enjoy." And then you don't hear from them until it's, you know, until you have to keep calling them. So sometimes it's like that. Yeah. But that is the culture. I think someone was like, "Well, you just have to know that whenever they get that big payday, to them that means that they can have some time off, and you may not hear from them for about a week, but after they enjoy, they will come back ready to work and get back on the project, which can slow people down when they have deadlines and all of that."
Right.
But we're pushing through. You
know, one thing I just decided, I stopped with the deadlines thing. I tell people, look, we can't do deadlines.
You stress yourself out, right?
Exactly, because I have literally at times felt like I was just gonna have a myocardial infarction. Like, what in the entire are we doing? Because it can be very frustrating. So you have to find some zen and not be pressed for time and deadlines and all of that. Like, I think someone recently asked me about a deadline, and I'm like, I don't do deadlines, because I've just, over the years, I've just gotten to a place where it's less stressful to do deadlines. Now, definitely you want to have a goal, you know, so that you can get things done. You know, and you do, sometimes you got to press people. But you have, like, I learned to just know in my head that, okay, you know, it's not going to get done in a week. So give yourself 2 weeks. And, you know, it's just good. It's good for maneuvering. So with your businesses, can you tell me, like, is it something that you can discuss? Like, what businesses have you found that you feel, that made you feel like, you know what, this is something I should get into?
So we actually discuss business opportunities all the time. And we try to encourage people just from different things that we think will be really good to start in Ghana. Of course, we can't start them all, but we do help people start them. So I think that also is our contribution. So somebody comes and they want to do something, and they want to partner, or they want help registering, we do, of course, help with that. But I think some key areas that are, or key things that are really good, have to do with, and people don't like to hear it, but agriculture.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Like my husband says,
that's my industry.
There's money in dirt. And so agriculture, if you want to start farming crops, that is a way, that's a good business. And then also animal farming. We're about to get into some chicken farming.
Yeah.
And, you know, aside from the farming piece or agriculture piece, you also want to take a look at tourism, because I feel like that is a big area where there's so much room for Ghana to grow and expand. Ghana is not like the East African countries where it's saturated with people from the outside controlling the tourism market. Now is a time where Black people, Ghanaians, and people from the diaspora can come together, and we can be the ones that determine what happens in tourism. And so that means putting up rest stops along all of the major tourist sites. You go to some of the tourist sites and you'll see that maybe there might not be a place for people to stay that is up to the standard that they want, or there may not be a food spot near the major tourist site, and they're usually far away. And so, and then also on the way to Cape Coast, maybe that it would be nice to put a like somehow we know some of the rest stops in the States. It'd be nice to put several of those along the way. Mm-hmm. So many different opportunities that you can think of in transportation, in lodging, in just businesses, if people decide to come to some of these tourist sites. So I think that is another huge opportunity for business, both in tourism and agriculture.
Wow. You know, that is so true. Agriculture is my industry. And one of the main things that we're always talking about is getting more of the diaspora into agriculture. Most people don't even know that in some West African countries, 80% of the food is being imported. And most of them is like 75% of the food is being imported. And just the idea of disrupting the import industry that's like exciting for me. That's why I got into agriculture, because I'm like, for one, when you bringing in food from the outside, it's not beneficial for the business, because they only have maybe 3 or 4 days before the food is spoiling. So if we can create more urban farms and different kind of farm, it's so much you can do in agriculture. It's so much you can do, like you said, in tourism. And I think that as we continue to do this, and this is why I like to have these conversations, is maybe just having this conversation will spark somebody's interest. Maybe somebody will hear you say rest stop and think, well, dang, I never thought about that. We do. I'm hoping you will. Yeah, because we do. We need them so bad. Like when you're going to like Kumasi or wherever, there's not really any rest stops. I don't think I've ever seen one. Yes, I have. I'm lying. I've seen them. They're not identifiable to me. Like it's not like what we're used to here and looking for a rest stop. You know, you can identify what the rest stop is. It's literally it says rest stop. So that's a really good idea. We definitely have room for improvement in all areas. It's still a developing nation, and it's just so much that we could get into. How do you feel about now that I know you've been researching businesses and all that stuff? There's a lot of times people say you should just come to Africa and specifically Ghana, start a business, and they make it seem like you can just do that and live your life. Everything's gonna be great. That's it. What would you say to somebody who said that?
So I'll say that they have to be prepared for a lot. But it is doable. It is doable. I always say it's doable.
It's definitely doable.
It'll be worth it, but it won't be the easy process that they're looking for. They have to throw all expectations of maybe what they think out of the window. And that's and when we help people, we tell them, okay, so here is of course the process for registration will be different. And then you also have the guidelines for GEPA, which most people, that deters a lot of people. But then you also hear people say, well, you also, on the other end, know that there are people who have started businesses in Ghana who have not gone through that route, and that there is the option of partnering with somebody local.
Right.
You have to be open and willing to that alternative setup by having a partner who would be running the business and not necessarily going through the GEPA channel. And so, it's possible, and there are people who are doing it and have done it. So yes.
For those who don't know, can you explain the GEPA to them?
Yes. So Ghana, is it Ghana? Actually, I'm saying it wrong. It's GIPC. So Ghana Investment and Promotion Center, and then there's also Ghana Export and Export Authority. So those two authorities are which controls the businesses that come into Ghana, and it is how you would register your business and pay taxes and all of that. So that is how, for foreign businesses, that's how it usually works for foreign businesses. Now, you do have some people who come and they partner with local Ghanaians to register their business and run their businesses. It's not illegal, but it is another channel that people operate under. And it's not going through those two channels.
Right. And, that is a way to get started. And many of us have to start that way. It just is what it is. I think people have to get to Ghana and weigh their options. Learning and observing how things work in Ghana, I think, is really important, because you're literally going into a different world. It's a totally different world from what we're used to. So how did you you seem like a really calm and cool, collected type of person. So I imagine that it hasn't been as difficult for you. You don't seem like somebody like me who just will blow a gasket, seconds. I have pretty short fuse. You seem like you can just kind of, yeah, okay. So how is that, like, going through these different processes? How have you managed to do it without, like, just saying forget it? Just saying forget it, because I know a lot of people who get involved and they're just like, nope, forget, I'm not doing it. So how have you been able to not throw your hands up and run away?
You talking about with Ghana in general, or business?
Yeah, Ghana, both.
Yeah, so I would say that I have to keep reminding myself that that I am in a different culture. I am in a different place, and things are done differently. And sometimes, I'm gonna keep it real, sometimes there's some things that are done where I'm just like annoyed. Yeah. I am thoroughly just annoyed. But then, of course, like I said, it helps that I do have a husband who is Ghanaian, and I'll ask him, I'll be like, is it me? Am I just tripping? Or was, like, the way that particular person spoke to me, was that rude? Like, was I wrong for thinking the way that I thought? And, then offer his perspective and be like, well, I mean, it could be kind of confusing what you were trying to say. I'm like, well, I mean, in the same token, it's like, I feel like they got what I was trying to say. They just felt like it had to be done this way, no way, or it was their way or no way.
Right.
And you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Particular about certain things. It's like, if it's not done this way or said this way, then they won't entertain it.
Yeah. And a lot of times you hear people say, well, this is Ghana. This is how we do things in Ghana. Yeah. But if it's a little easier way to do it, why can't we do it the easier way?
Yep. And so sometimes I just have to just
fall back.
Do a woosah and fall back. Yeah, I had to fall back several nights ago where I felt myself getting upset at the person who was taking my order, because it's like, I'm explaining it this way. Why can't you just get it the way that I'm explaining it? But they didn't get what I was saying, and so I said, okay, yes, this is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So yes, I've had those moments, and I just try to take a step back in that moment and realize that it could just be a misinterpretation of the cultures and communication and communicating.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes there is that missing piece.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about Certified Africa. Certified Africa. You guys have some really dope videos, promo. Looks like your promo videos I ran across.
Okay.
Really dope. I think you guys are what I saw was very appealing to the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is something that our people have to, we got to try to help. We got to step it up. Like, we got to step our game up, and so that we can be competitive in the global market. Yeah, like the content just looks really well put together.
I'm happy to hear that. Yes. Okay.
Really well.
I mean, it is a collection of the different experiences that we feel like people should be seeing. So I think it's motivated by the fact that media is so important in people's perception of Africa. Everything that people have perceived up until this point has been shaped by media, and that is why we value that so much. And we know that if we continue to show certain images about what's really happening on the continent, then more people will be interested and excited about coming. So I'm always thinking about how can we show a different perspective. I want people to see the culture. I want people to see the beauty. I want people to see that, hey, I mean, yes, there may be some places, where there is poverty in Africa, but that is not the narrative of the entire continent.
No, it's not.
And there's people who don't even know that there are skyscrapers in Africa. They don't know there are highways. They don't know that people are driving around in Range Rovers and all these different. I just want people to see all of those different things and elements. I want them to be attracted to the place. And most people who've talked about Africa in the past, it's been about lions, tigers, and bears. That has been the narrative for a long time. The safaris.
Girl, I tell people all the time, I see more wild animals here in Georgia than I see in Ghana. The only animals I see is food. I see chickens and goats.
Yeah, in Ghana for sure. And I mean, those things exist in other places, but it's not the entire
right. So I think like the fact that you guys are helping to provide a different perspective as far as what's on the continent, and not giving into the poverty porn and all of that craziness. Poor people are everywhere, and if we're going to help, we should help instead of exploit. But I really, really appreciate what I saw, because I'm a visual person, and your video, the clips that I saw made me want to it made me want to go to Zanzibar. I'm like, oh, we've been talking about it. I really need to go. Like, they're snorkeling and stuff. Like,
that was amazing. Just
beautiful. Yeah, that was. It made me really like to see you all doing that. Is there what advice would you give someone who is you look like you're pretty young. Are you in your 20s still?
Yes, I'm still in my 20s. I am 28.
28. All right. So what would you give? Because most of the repatriates are, I'm 40, so most of us are like 35 to 40 to 60, like older in age. What could you tell younger people in y'all 20s? How would you encourage them to go ahead and make this move earlier in life? Because I wish I would have done it earlier, much earlier in life.
So I'll say that I think they really have to think it through, which is something that we help people do in our relocation program that we have. But they need to be thinking about their goals. Like, what is it that you want to do in life? And then you have to see, okay, can I see myself doing that thing in Ghana? Or can I see myself doing that thing in Tanzania? And then once they identify whatever it is, then they need to start thinking about, how they can hold on strong to that. I think too many people are trying to move, but then they're not, they don't have a goal that they're focusing on accomplishing. It's just like, I'm just gonna move. And they haven't thought about what will life be like. Life does not stop because you moved.
Okay.
You still have to get up every day and have a focus and have a purpose and all of that.
Right.
So now you can see, can I see myself doing that same thing wherever I'm about to move? And I feel like it needs to be something strong and good, because things will get tough. Like, Ghana is not for the weak. Africa is not for the weak.
It ain't for the weak. You damn sure ain't for the weak. You gotta have a well made up mind.
Yeah, when you move, you have to find something that's going to keep you coming back when things get tough. What's going to keep you going at the end of the day? We were recently talking to another young lady, same age as me, who moved to start a food truck, and you may have heard of her. But what we were talking to her, and we were pointing out that what's keeping her so focused, what's making her excited to get up every day and pursue and keep pushing, what has made the difference is that she has a goal and she has something that she is focused on. She's focused on building her business and her food truck and something that will be here in the next 10 years. She's growing. But if you just move and you don't have a plan and a focus, you will get discouraged very easily, I feel like, because you'll feel like, okay, what am I doing here? What am I doing?
And see, I like that you say that, because so often, like people my age, we don't have any pension, we don't have any Social Security, none of that's coming for us. So when you make this decision, you got to have like a well made up mind. You got to have a plan. You got to have a goal. You have to have all of these things. So I haven't seen many, and it's probably just because of my age. I'm not amongst the 28-year-olds. Do you see that there's interest? Is there a lot of interest in people your age to move to Africa or specifically Ghana?
So I think that there is, but I think it's a harder sell, honestly. It's a harder thing for them to come to terms with it. There's a lot of people who are unhappy in their, like my same thing. They're unhappy in their jobs. They're unhappy in America. They want to explore. They want to travel. And so I do think that there's room, but making that huge leap is harder for them. So I think what we're planning to do in the future is to provide like services and programs that will help them slowly transition. Like, can they come and can they learn how to work from anywhere? Can they find a remote job that will allow for them to come to Ghana and see what it's like to be here for a month? Can they come and spend 2 months here and explore business opportunities, and then slowly over time start building something so that when they hit maybe 30s or they hit 40 or whatever they desire, they can come here and something's already working for them, because you don't want them to come now and then just leave with 500 in their pocket, and then several months later they're now forced to run back to America. So I think it's a slower transition for people who are younger, and that is what I hope that they will see, that this is a smoother pathway, to them eventually being able to do full time if they want to. Because yes, you're right. You have people who are older who are just coming. They are coming to just relax and retire at this point. So maybe they're not interested in starting something afresh.
Yeah. I just, I've talked with a few other, and I can't believe I'm considered like a older person now. But talking with my age mates, and it does come up like, okay, how do we encourage the younger people to start making this transition also? Because many of us feel like, damn, if I would have started doing this when I was like 25, I would be straight by now. Like if I would have known what I know now, then life could be so much different. Like I literally could have things set already, but I didn't. So how do we let the ones who are coming behind us know, the 25, 30, 35-year-olders know, like, look, if this is something you want to do, this is a pathway that you could take to achieve it much faster than we were able to. I think that what you're doing is amazing. I'm hoping that seeing you and there are other younger repatriates. I'm hoping that there'll be more to start, at least, like you said, testing it out, coming for a little time here and a little time there, and establishing the relationships and all of the things that you have to do anyway. If you start now, and by the time you're 30, maybe you could go ahead and do whatever the goal is that you want, that you have in mind, you can do that. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Well, I really appreciate our conversation, and I think that we've hit a lot of good points today. I do want to mention, if anybody is looking and wondering if they should do it, I say do it, because I feel like your happiness is most important.
Yes.
That just first and foremost. Like if you've been hating your life in America, you've been hating going to the job, you hate working with the people that you work with, and you just feel like there's something different, something more for you. Like just know that there is, and something alternative out there. And there is the lifestyle that you've always dreamed about. It can happen. And I just want to tell people that and let people know that that's possible. And then if they want to do it in Ghana, we are here to help. We're here to help them transition. If they want to come and experience Ghana from a repatriation perspective, and they want to, they can see themselves living here. We do travel experiences that focus on helping people with that. And then we also have a program that helps people officially move. So we go from the very beginning. What's your foundation? What is your goal when you come to Ghana? And then we just help them work through all of the things that a person who's moving would need to work through, like the home, the different everyday necessities that you have to put in place, your paperwork, all of that. We go through all of that. Then the cultural piece, which I think is huge.
It's
huge.
I
don't know, I just can't stop stressing it enough. And we do have I think we do have a unique perspective. I think both you and I, because we are married to Ghanaians. So my husband, of course, is able to offer perspective on some of the cultural things with Ghana. And then he's also lived in the States, so he can kind of, relate to African Americans in that way and explain, okay, so maybe you might expect this, but this is how it might be in Ghana, and it's not something that you should be upset about at all. Right. And this is just how it is. So it helps and prepares people, and I think buffers out some of those things that would make people kind of like repulse back, like, ugh, that taste in their mouth. So, we help people with all of that. And then I think it's always good to have somebody that you can trust. We want people to move, and we want them to do it with trustworthy people. So we're here. And of course, there are other great people out there doing the same work. So I guess if you like what we stand for and you vibe with me and what we do, then yeah, we are here.
So how do people get in contact with you?
So they can reach us on www.certifiedafrica.com. They can email us at certifiedafrica@gmail.com, or you can reach us using 727-222-1637. And then those are 3 different ways you can reach us. We're also on WhatsApp with that. All right.
Are you all on Instagram?
We're on Instagram at Certified Africa. We're on Facebook at Certified Africa, and YouTube at Certified Africa as well.
Great. And we're going to put all of that in the description, so that if anyone wants to contact Certified Africa, you can just click a link in the description and you'll have direct contact with Kristen and her crew. So I want to thank you so much. It's been so interesting. You're the first 20-something-year-older that I've been able to talk to. Yes, it's really hard to come across the younger people who are doing the do in Ghana. Like, and I know that it's happening, but like you said, that it's a lot smaller than it is with the 35 to 45-year-olds. So it's been a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to know that you are doing what I wish I would have done when I was your age. It really just brings some joy to my heart, because when you were talking about how unhappy you were in your work, it just reminded me of being 23, 24, 25, and I'm working in the ER, and I'm really not, I love helping people, but I wasn't digging it. I felt so trapped. I felt so, and I didn't know that I had another option. I didn't know that it was possible for me to go and move somewhere else, even if it wasn't Africa. It's 194 other countries in the world. You don't have to be unhappy in America. People are living well in every country outside of America. We don't have, it's not like America is the end all be all. So I think it's absolutely amazing that at your age, you have been able to see that. You've been able to identify that, now I got a law degree, I got all of this going on, but this shit ain't making me happy. So what do I do? How do I take what I have and turn it into something that will give me a happier life, especially as a Black woman and a young Black woman? I'm just happy to see that you don't feel bound to this place, and you don't have to feel bound to nowhere. Like, I feel the same way. I'm not bound to America, and I'm not bound to Ghana. If my life transitions in a way that I find myself in the Congo, okay, fine. Whatever is going to be good. We only get one time to make this life journey, as far as you know. So why not give it everything you got?
I agree. I totally agree.
Yes. So thank you. I look forward to seeing what you all have in store. Just looking at your videos, I'm super excited. I'm about to go and like your page so that I can see regularly as you guys post. And y'all out there, y'all need to see the content that they have. It is very appealing. I'll be sending, when people ask me, I'll be saying, look, y'all need to check out Certified Africa, because these young folks doing some good stuff here. So
thank you. I appreciate it, and I thank you for having me.